What's up, e-bikers? Dual motors and long range? This is the Tesway X7 all-wheel drive. It's next. Alright guys, so here's the X7 Pro all-wheel drive in blue. You can see the other version comes in black. I'll go over the differences between my 52 volt here and the 48 volt in a second. But this bike is on sale right now. As I'm taping this, it's just before Thanksgiving, so prices may change. But as of right now, it's like $800 off. So this is a massive steal with dual motors and a 60 volt, 52 volt, 60 amp, 52 volt system here. You can use code crisscrossed150. Now, I don't think that works while it's on sale, so keep that in mind. But again, a pretty good Black Friday deal going on as of the taping of this. We'll see if it lasts through Christmas. All right, so these bikes come in step over. These are the step over frames here. You can see here they got a little fin down here on the bottom, and they got a crossbar here. The step through is a little more angled, so you get a little more step through there, but that's the step over comes in blue or black are the colors. This is a nice kind of navy blue. And I think the step through comes with red and black as the colors there. So those are the differences. Now these bikes are definitely different in terms of the setup here. So the 52 volt has these, has the dual crown fork here. You got different handlebar setup versus the 48 volt here system here. Just a regular handlebar system there, U-shaped, no crown fork, no twin crown fork, and a different light as well. You get the upgraded light on this. I'll do a quick night write-up for you as well on this to check that out. And you just get a smaller light on the 48 volt system here. Top speed, so this has dual motor, so this says it goes about 38, that goes about 32. I think we'll get a little bit less than that while on the road, but we'll test that out. We have peak wattage. This says 3,600 watts of peak power thanks to 2,000 watt motors. And that's just peak wattage of 2,000 watt with that 1,000 watt in the rear there. And I think the 48 volt is only like $100, $200 cheaper. So if price is a concern, that's still a great bike as well. Front motor on the 52 volt here. I had to zip tie I could actually fix the motor wire a little bit. So not the greatest setup there, but again, 1,000 watt, peaks at 1,800, and here's the rear one as well. You can see that. And the torque on these is really good, 200 newton meters of torque altogether, I believe. All right, here's the 52 volt, 60 amp hour battery. It plugs in right here on this. Now they're sending me a new battery because this one is cutting out on me for some reason. So I did complain about that, and they are shipping out a new one. So I did have that problem, I want to be honest. And but this thing weighs about 30 pounds. It's rated for about 200 miles. I think that's with their rear wheel only. And I'll test it out doing all-wheel drive at some point here. But these are going to be long-term e-bikes, guys. So I'm going to be testing these e-bikes throughout 2026. I think I'm going to use the dual motor for deliveries, doing Uber Eats. So it's going to be, I think, my primary vehicle for next year once the spring comes around. So we'll test that out. Should get me a little more money. I can ride a little bit faster, go up hills faster than even that can. So I'm looking forward to testing this out on the deliveries once I get that chance. But yeah, we're reporting back on these throughout the year. And I've already modded the 48 volt, as you can see here, with new tires, spoke skins, bags, all kinds of stuff, seats and everything like that. So we'll this is kind of my long-range cruiser when I go on, 40, 50 mile rides with my crew. And this is going to be more a delivery vehicle, I think. Let's talk about tires and brakes. We're rocking these Kendas 20x4s with puncture resistance and that reflective stripe around the tire. 20x4s, of course. We've got a 203 millimeter rotor on front and rear, 2.3 millimeters thick. Pretty big rotor there. 4-piston S4 hydraulic brakes around that out. And on the other side of the battery, there's your key lock here. You have to turn the e-bike on and lock it in place. There's a little pin right here. It comes out. That locks it in place. Here's your charge port. And this thing comes with a 8-amp rapid charger, guys. So this thing will charge up from dead in about 7 hours. That's pretty great. We've got front hydraulic suspension here with lockout and preload up on top. You can see here's the preload, and here's your compression adjustment right here. On the rear, these are the spring shocks. You can't really adjust these. They are what they are. So they're pretty stiff out of the box, and that's what you get there, though. I turned on the front light. You can do that with the button up here. And that's just to get here. There's a little halo around this, and you got 3 bulbs. And then we have a rear tail light as well that also acts as a brake light. Here you got 7 speeds up here. Shimano SIS shifter. 52-2 chain ring down there. And a pretty basic Shimano derailleur with, I think it looks like a 14 to 28 tooth freewheel back there. So, and this is a cadence sensor e-bike, guys. No torque. Sizing wise, this e-bike weighs 119 pounds, so it's definitely on the heavy side. Again, the battery is 30 of that. Payload is about 350 according to the company. Here's your cockpit here. You got the nice locking grips here. The Semi-Log is the brand of the brakes, by the way. Here's the levers. Here's your control pad, plus and minus, walk mode, info, power, and light. Come back to your display. On the right side, you also get a horn on this side. Bike's not on. And your short twist throttle and locking grip. Okay, the bike comes with 2 NFC keys to start your bike. If you hit the power button without those, you're going to get a passcode. So what you do is, let me shut that off. You don't even need that on. So what you do is you take your NFC key, you just go like this, and the bike comes on. Look at that. You got a nice color display here with your battery bars, your pass, your percentage here. This tells you which mode you're in, and of course you're using the power key. I'm gonna move through the different settings there. Max, trip, of course, average. There's your voltage, 57.9, and amperage, time, and back to odometer. So I have 6 miles on the bike so far. So to get into our dual motor, you see here the rear one is flashing right there. So you're gonna basically press the I key, and now both are flashing. So now it's in dual motor mode. Press the I key again, it goes back to rear. So it's only rear or all-wheel drive, that's it. One other thing I want to show you, the I key does. So when you turn the bike on, it's still in class 2 mode, okay? So you have to unlock that class 3 speed every time you start the bike. It's probably the most annoying thing about the bike is that. So I'm gonna hold down the I key for a second here. The screen's gonna flash to 99. And once it does that, you are good to go, top speed, close to 35, 38 miles an hour. Here's a look at the bike at night. See that tail light back there? Your display. And nice big headlight. Glow. It's definitely glowing white. See that beam come off of that thing. And there's your throw right there. So not bad. All right, guys, we're on this all-wheel drive Tesway. We're in PS1 right now. And dual motors engaged. I'm just doing 10 miles an hour here. There's 2. Gets us up to about 17, 16. 3. A burst to 22. Almost 23 there. The roads are wet today, so gotta be careful here. There's definitely a little bit of, but there's not too much wheel spin there in the front. Let's try it. You can see that. Not too bad. You definitely feel that front motor engage though, particularly when you're in 3 or higher. it's a smaller bike, the 20 by 4 inch tires, so I don't feel, but it's just you know, it's big enough to where you don't feel small on it. All right, let's cross the street here. All right, so we'll do a speed test here, hill test, test out the brakes. Although it's a little wet today, probably get a little bit of skidding, and let's see what this thing is like. Okay, so let's do 2 speed tests. We'll do one with the rear wheel drive only, and then we'll do one with the all wheel drive, both motors engaged here. So I'll start out with rear wheel only. Let's go. Definitely sluggish here. I gotta put it in 5. That'll help. Here we go here. Power comes on slow, ramping up here. Right. It's a couple miles off, it looks like. So bike's climbing, there's 30. GPS says 27. I think we're gonna hit 31 there, 32. Ran out of room though. So let's call it like 30-ish. All right, let me put it in real dual motor. Okay, here we go. We're already at 25. 31, 32. 33, 34, 35, 35 there's 36 for a second, bike says 33. Or the GPS says 33. Nice, let's give that one more try here. This road is too short, I can't really sometimes get the full amount of speed. Okay, bike says 35, GPS says 32, bike says 36, 33 in GPS. And 30, I saw 36.2 there on flat ground. So there you go, guys. A little bit less than advertised, but that's fine. Let's go do our hill test. All right, hill test time, guys. Dual motor. This thing should crush it, of course. Expecting superb results here. Already at 22 and climbing. GPS is definitely off by a couple miles. We're doing 27, 28 uphill. 25 on GPS. All right, here's the steepest part. We're not going to go below 20, I don't think. 22, GPS 21, 20, yeah. 19 for a second there. So 20 miles an hour up the hill. Let's try the 15% grade up here. I'll do it from a dead stop. Yeah, I just flew up that hill. Those dual motors. Yeah, here we go. 15% grade, steepest hill I can find in my town. 11 on the GPS. That was it. 11 miles an hour, minimum speed up the hill. It's one of those warm-ish November days. But it's gonna get really cold in the next few weeks, so I want to get this video done. So when you're watching this, it's gonna be December. All right, 4 pistons. These things are really solid. I mean, as soon as I hit these things, they stop that bike. Look at that. So, all right. I'm gonna skip the downhill run today. Let's go talk about, I've been doing a lot more videos on this bike, so let's go talk about what this bike needs and what it would change. All right, so there's your X7 all-wheel drive. So let's talk about what this bike still needs. There's no turn signals on this e-bike, and I think that this is a bike probably you're gonna ride on the road a lot on the streets, so it's missing those things. There's definitely ghost pedaling at the higher speeds, but you're probably gonna be using throttle only on this e-bike. Again, the battery issue, it cut off on me once so far, so I emailed the company, they're gonna send me a new battery. But I've been using Tesways for a couple of years now, so I had the original X5 step-through that I did for Uber Eats back in 2024. I put like 800 miles on that bike with 0 problems. So I do trust them at this point. Hopefully that battery issue will not be a problem going forward here, but we'll definitely get the new one and check it out. The bike's heavy, but that's okay. Let's expect that from a dual motor e-bike like this. But I think this is the best looking long range e-bike on the market. And I think it's cool looking. It's a great looking e-bike. I like it over the Iniokis, the Iahoras. It's just a much better looking ride, if you ask me. The new frame is pretty cool. Some people like that fin, some people don't. I don't really care. It's just there for stability. So that's the Tesway X7 Pro. Again, crisscross 150 is my code. I don't think that applies during the the big sales, Black Friday and stuff. So keep that in mind. But just an awesome, fast, power and range. That's what this e-bike is all about. So we'll test out the mileage in the coming months in 2026. And that's it for now, guys. Let me know what you think about the new all-wheel drive. I love that blue. That's pretty cool looking color. Here's a rear profile shot of the bike. It's just tight all the way around. Love the lines on this thing. I mean, the frame is just pretty cool looking. And I just love the whole setup of this bike. It's just top notch and ready to ride.